Some damage in life does not happen on the day we suffer the most. It happens on the day we begin to believe that we are no longer capable of becoming better. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again. Today, we are going to talk about a pattern of human behavior that many people have witnessed in others, and perhaps some of us have unknowingly seen within ourselves. A behavior that society often describes with one brutal phrase: beyond repair. It is a phrase people throw around constantly nowadays, especially on social media. We use it when we see someone repeating the same destructive behavior over and over again. Despite countless warnings, explanations, and second chances, people try to reason with them. People try to help, but nothing changes. Eventually, society gives up and says, that person is beyond repair. But the truth is, this phrase carries two completely different meanings depending on the kind of human being standing behind it. The darkest version of beyond repair belongs to people who refuse to confront themselves, not people who make mistakes, because every human being makes mistakes, but people who protect their ego more than they protect their future. These are the people who weaponize anger as personality. They insult others to feel powerful. They humiliate people to hide their own insecurity. They mistake arrogance for confidence and cruelty for honesty. And nowhere is this behavior more visible than on social media. We live in a world where people are becoming emotionally addicted to outrage. People no longer pause to think before attacking someone. They react instantly, judge instantly, humiliate instantly, not because they seek truth, but because modern society rewards emotional violence with attention. The louder the rage, the more visibility it gets. The more cruel the comment, the more engagement it receives. And slowly, human beings begin to confuse toxicity with strength. That is where the real danger begins. Because a person does not become beyond repair simply by being flawed. They become beyond repair the moment they stop believing they need to change. A person who lies but feels ashamed can still grow. A person who hurts others but reflects on it can still mature. A person who falls apart but accepts responsibility can still rebuild their life. But the truly dangerous person is someone who repeats the same destruction again and again, while convincing themselves they are always the victim. Some people know they are hurting others and enjoy it. Some people know they are destroying their own future, but continue because temporary emotions matter more to them than long-term consequences. Some people lose everyone around them, yet still blame the world instead of questioning themselves. And society has normalized this behavior far more than people realize. Today, people are encouraged to be themselves even when their behavior is toxic. People defend their emotional instability as authenticity. People celebrate impulsiveness while mocking accountability. And because of that, self-awareness is disappearing. Human beings are becoming experts at explaining their pain, but terrible at taking responsibility for the damage they create. That is the ugliest form of being beyond repair. Not brokenness, not trauma, not failure, but the refusal to evolve. Because eventually, repeated behavior becomes identity, and when someone spends years feeding anger, ego, manipulation, dishonesty, or selfishness, those things stop being habits. They become character. And character shapes destiny. But there is another side to this phrase that society rarely talks about. Some people call themselves beyond repair not because they reject accountability, but because they finally see reality too clearly. These are the people who understand exactly what they destroyed, the relationship they lost because they chose pride over communication, the opportunity they ruined because they acted recklessly, the people they hurt when they were emotionally immature. Unlike the first group, these people are not running from truth. They are crushed by it. And ironically, these are often the people who still have hope. Because the moment a human being genuinely confronts themselves, without excuses, growth becomes possible again. Pain can mature people. Regret can educate people. Loss can humble people. Some of the wisest individuals are not people who lived perfectly. They are people who once became the reason for their own suffering, and finally decided to stop. That is the positive form of beyond repair. Not surrendering to life, but accepting that some consequences cannot be undone. Some apologies will arrive too late. Some relationships will never return. Some damage will remain permanent. But maturity begins when a person stops asking, "How do I erase the past?" and starts asking, "How do I make sure I never become that version of myself again?" Because real growth is not becoming flawless. Real growth is refusing to let your worst behaviors become permanent parts of your identity. And perhaps that is the lesson modern society desperately needs right now. We are living in an era where people want healing without accountability, validation without reflection, attention without discipline, forgiveness without change. But human beings do not transform through comfort alone. Sometimes people only change after losing enough to finally see themselves honestly. And maybe the most terrifying truth of all is this: many people are not destroyed by trauma. They are destroyed by the version of themselves they refuse to confront. In the end, every human being carries wounds. Some people use those wounds as excuses to hurt others. Others use those wounds as reasons to become better human beings. And that is the difference between someone who is truly beyond repair and someone who was simply late in learning how to grow. Thank you everyone for listening today. If this story gave you something to reflect on, whether about yourself, the people around you, or the direction society is moving toward, then perhaps this conversation served its purpose. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and follow the channel for more conversations like this. You are listening to
สถานีหยุดพักคลายเหนื่อย
and I will see you again on the next journey.